This Pandan Bread Rolls is a very delicious treat and it is very easy to make. It is a very delicious treat that you can have it anytime you like. And in today's video, I will show you how easy it is for you to make this delicious Pandan Bread Roll for you and your family at home. After you watch this video, if you like this video, don't forget to like and share. You can also follow me on Instagram or you can follow me on Facebook. Okay, let's get started. You will need some warm milk, some all-purpose flour, some sugar, some salt, unsalted butter, 1 egg, flavor pandan, and some active dry yeast. You can purchase this pandan flavor at any Asian grocery store. First, I will weigh the flour to show you. But if you don't have the scale, you can use 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And if you were to weigh it, it weighs 350 grams. When it comes to making bread, usually it is better to weigh all your ingredients. But if you don't have the scale, don't worry, I will show you both methods. Like I said, it is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour or 350 grams. The milk that I'm using is 2%, but you can use coconut milk if you like. You will need 1/2 cup and 2 tablespoons of warm milk or coconut milk or 165 grams. You will need to warm up the milk that is from the fridge for 30 seconds. First, we will use the warm milk to activate the active dry yeast. 1 teaspoon of dry yeast or 4 grams. 4 tablespoons of sugar or 70 grams. You're going to stir and mix well for 10 seconds. If you are using active dry yeast, you can follow this method, but if you are using instant yeast, you can add the instant yeast straight into the flour. After you mix it well for 10 seconds, you're going to use the saran wrap and cover it and leave it for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, the saran wrap that you used to cover, it should look foggy just like this one. And if you were to look at it closer, you will see some bubbles in there. Now that the dry yeast is activated, next we will add all the other ingredients. You will need 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pandan flavor. With this step here, if you were to choose to add other flavors like ube flavor, you can also do that too, but this one we add 1/2 teaspoon of pandan flavor. You can mix well, and after we're going to add the dry ingredients. 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour or 350 grams, but first add half of the portion. After you add half of the flour in, do not use the whisker because the whisker tends to stuck to the flour. You can use the spatula to mix all the ingredients together. You can stir and mix all the ingredients together for 10 seconds. After you stir and mix for 10 seconds, you can add the rest of the flour. Now you can use a spatula to combine all the ingredients together for about 1 minute. And after you combine all the ingredients together, next we're going to add some butter. But before you add the butter in, make sure that you combine all the ingredients together just the way that you can see it in this picture. Once you use a spatula and mix everything together and form it into a dough, now you can add 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter or 50 grams. I warm up the butter that was from the fridge for 10 seconds in the microwave to soften the butter. Make sure when you warm up the butter in the microwave to make sure not to melt the butter. You only want to soften the butter, so this way when you use your hand to knead the dough not going to be too sticky when you touch the dough. After you use a spatula to spread the butter all around your dough, now you can use your hand to knead the dough in this bowl for 2 minutes. By using your hand to knead the dough or mix the dough, it will combine all the butter through the dough evenly. You can continue to knead the dough like I said in this bowl for 2 minutes before you can take the dough out from this bowl to a kneading surface. After 1 minute, the dough will be a bit sticky, but don't worry. After 2 minutes, when you are kneading the dough in the bowl for 2 minutes, the dough will not be too sticky when you touch it. After you start to see the dough that is not too sticky, now you can transfer it out and put it on the kneading surface. You can use both hands to knead the dough by folding the dough and push it back out, folding the dough and push it back out for 5 minutes. Doing this process sometimes can be very tiring, so you can also switch to one hand by folding the dough and use the back palm to push it out to knead the dough. A lot of time I never like this process, but if you have a stand mixer, you can use a stand mixer to mix the dough together. After 3 minutes of kneading the dough, when you pull the dough out, the dough will break apart. That means the dough is not ready yet. You will continue to knead the dough for 2 more minutes, and after 2 more minutes, the dough should be more elastic, like that is when the dough is ready. And I can guarantee you, after 5 minutes of kneading this dough, you will gain some muscle. After 5 minutes of kneading the dough now should be ready. And now you can fold the dough and make it smooth and put it back into the bowl. Next, we will cover it with the plastic wrap and leave it in there for 2 hours to let it rise to double size. Here is the baking tray that I will use. When it close to 2 hours, we will spray this with some cooking oil in this tray. This tray is size 12 inches in length and 6 inches in width. After 2 hours, the dough that we leave on the side now is ready. By now, the dough should feel soft when you touch it, and should be easy when you try to take it out from the bowl. You can use your hand to push the dough down to deflate the dough. The dough should not be sticky, but since I just cleaned the cutting board, that is why this dough seems a bit sticky as you can see it. Now you can poke a hole in the middle of the dough and after lift it up and stretch it out and make it into a big circle or a big donut. But if your dough is sticky, you can always spray some cooking oil or spread some cooking oil underneath your dough. I use the cooking oil instead of the loose flour to put on the flour so it is not too sticky. Now you can break the circle or the donut and make it into a long log. After you make it into a long log, you can cut it into 15 pieces, or you can choose to cut it into 3 equal-sized logs. It is easier to cut it into 3 equal-sized logs first. After you cut them into 3 equal-sized individual logs, now you can cut them into 5 pieces in each log. The pieces will not going to be super equal, but that is okay. It is homemade. But what you can do, if you have a scale, you can scale them, and it is between 40 grams to 45 grams. Next, I will show you how you can make it into a round ball and place it in the baking tray. To make it into a round ball, at first you're going to use one hand and fingers to pinch all the dough together and using the other hand to guide the process. Once you're done pinching the dough, you can turn the pinching area down to the kneading surface, and you're going to use your palm and roll the dough in a circular motion until the dough is round and smooth. When you are pinching them together, don't worry if it is not super round. The important part is when you turn the pinching area down to the kneading surface using your palm, that is when you can use the circular motion to roll the dough into a smooth, round surface. There are 15 bread rolls in this tray, and each roll has 3 pieces of those round pandan bread rolls. After we make them into a ball, next we're going to cover them with the plastic wrap and let it rest and rise for 20 minutes. After 15 minutes that you are letting the dough rest and rise, next you can start to preheat the oven. You can place the dough to rise on the top of the stove. You can preheat the oven on bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. On the warm stove, it will help the dough to rise better. You will need 1 egg and 4 tablespoons of any kind of unflavored milk. These 2 ingredients is what we are going to brush over the pandan bread rolls to give it a shiny gloss look after it's baked. Mix the 2 ingredients well together. And here is our dough after 20 minutes after we make them into a ball shape. And the one on the right side is the one that is not rised yet. You can brush 2 to 3 layers of egg milk onto the bread rolls. For the leftover liquid, you can always scramble it and eat it with ketchup. And my daughter wants to help me with this process. Another thing that I like to mention for those who don't use dairy product, you can just use the egg itself, whisk it, and after start to brush it on the top of your pandan bread rolls. After your oven is preheat to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, you can place your pandan bread roll in the second row of your oven rack. By doing it this way, the top rack oven will protect your bread rolls not to get burned too fast. You will bake it at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 17 to 19 minutes. And depending on your oven, sometimes it may take 17 minutes and sometimes it may take 19 minutes to completely cook and get brown. And for my oven, it took me 18 minutes to get it into this golden, nice brown color. And that is all to it on how you can make this delicious pandan bread rolls for you and your family at home. I hope this video is easy enough for you to follow so you can easily follow the steps and make this delicious pandan bread roll for you and your family at home. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share with your family and friends. And if you have any question for me, I will try my best to answer all your questions. You can leave all the questions and comments in the comment box below. If this is your first time watching my video, don't forget to like, share, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more delicious homemade recipes. You can also follow me on Instagram, or you can also follow me on my Facebook fan page. Okay, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye for now.